All right, so today I wanted to talk about what Worktuit is, who we're for, and how it works. Allow me to introduce myself. My name's Andy Beeler. I am the founder of Worktuit. Now, prior to Worktuit, I have been in the recruiting or talent acquisition industry, if you will, for going on 20 years. And I've done that in a variety of settings. I've been in the agency world, so if you've heard of the world of headhunting or anything of that nature, I did that for a few years, and then I went from there into the corporate setting. So I was in the internal recruiting department of several companies for many years. I've gone from being a actual recruiter, actually doing the hiring. So when your application gets sent in, it doesn't go into a black hole, believe it or not. It actually goes to a person, like myself at the time, a recruiter, and then we review the information and then actually go on from there. And then from there, I was actually in leadership, so I've been in leadership for a while now. And in that time, I've seen a lot. And I've interviewed thousands of people. I've talked to thousands of people over the phone. I've worked with people. Obviously, in an HR function, you work with a lot of people. You see the good, bad, and the ugly. But one thing I did see pretty consistently was people that were unhappy in their careers or felt jaded or didn't feel like they were on the right path, and just the typical, stereotypical, dreading Mondays, going into work, just doing it for the paycheck, getting by, right, with the bare minimum, just doing whatever they just had to do just to basically keep their job. And sounds sad, but you know what? That's a large majority of people these days. They're just existing. They're just kind of drifting through their career. And it's sad. I've seen people come right out of college and they're full of vigor and they go into their career, and then they start scratching their head in no time, wondering, what did I do? And why did I go into this career? So over the years, seeing that really stuck with me. And I wanted to change that. I wanted to get to a point to where people actually were excited to be in their jobs and to be in their careers and not be dreading it. Because I don't understand why it has to be that way. Maybe my mind works differently than a lot of people that just accept that, but I believe that work can actually be fulfilling. It can be satisfying if you go about preparing for it in the right way, which is what Worktuit is. What we've done is we've created this company that helps people prepare for a career that they're meant to be in. And it totally, it just gets rid of that whole concept of just crossing your fingers and hoping that you made the right decision. That's not the right way to go about it. There actually is a way that can help you prepare for a career that you're meant to be in and thrive in. And that's what Worktuit is. So I've taken all of my knowledge, taken all of the years of experience that I've had in talent acquisition and recruiting on the corporate side, as well as doing some headhunting, working with a lot of different people. And I brought that into the fold here and Worktuit. I built this company around the concept of self-motivation and around putting in work to achieve results. It almost seems silly to say that, but in my experience in working with people in an HR function, and definitely on the hiring function of HR, it's amazing to me that they feel like they're almost entitled to just come into a job and I'll just do the bare minimum and I'll probably be promoted in a year. And that's I'm not kidding. That's people's expectations these days. Or it could be people that are midway through their careers and they're just so upset and unsatisfied that they think the answer is, well, I'll just change careers or hire a career coach and they'll tell me what to do. That's the wrong approach. You need to back up and look at yourself in the mirror and figure out who you are and what you're meant to do. It starts there. It starts with a mindset. Because if you're able to get into the right mindset, there's multiple mindsets, which I'll talk about, but if you're able to do that first, that sets the foundation to having a successful career, to actually having a fulfilling career, one that you actually enjoy doing and you're not dreading every day of your life. So that is what Worktuit is. If you haven't guessed or picked up yet, the concept of Worktuit is that you got to work to it. And so I'll start there when it comes to Worktuit. What is it? Well, we help people get to their it. And I'll say it in quotes a lot. So what it is different for everyone. It may be that you're discovering what career to go into. You could be in college right now and just trying to figure out, what should I major in? Or maybe you've already selected your major. Now it's got to be what career that you're going to go into with that major. Or it could be preparing to start a new career, right? So you've gone through college, and now that you're got your major figured out and you know what you're going to do, you actually got to prepare to start that career. Maybe it's navigating a new career. For those of you that have just graduated, whether it be high school or college, it could be that's daunting, right, to go into a brand new career. Could be developing in your current career. So you're in your career, you know what you're supposed to be doing, but you just need help to get ahead. Maybe you do need to change careers. That's another thing. Maybe you need to change careers, but you don't know how to get to that point. It's overwhelming. Maybe you're restarting a career. Maybe you've taken a hiatus and it's time to restart your career. Maybe you want to start a business. You realize that after so many years, now it's time to start a business, and that's your it, but you don't know how to get there yet. And maybe you need to go back to school. Maybe you've achieved that or reached that point in your career that you realize that going back to school is a good idea. So Worktuit's for students, college students, high school students, homeschool students, which is a growing market out there. It's growing by leaps and bounds. But if you think about students, that struggle of deciding what to do for a career is real. And so we help students figure that out. It's also those that are, as I mentioned, that are brand new to their careers. So you just graduated, and again, that whole new world that you stepped into can be overwhelming, and you don't know how to navigate that new world, and that's where Worktuit can help you as well. And then those that are developing in their new careers, so going back to school, I talked about that, or maybe you're pursuing management or leadership. Maybe you're just in need of development in areas that'll help you get ahead in your career, but you're not sure exactly what areas to develop in. That's, again, where Worktuit can help you. And then those that are in career transition. So I talked about those that are restarting their career. So maybe you took time off to raise your kids, or maybe you're deciding, okay, I'm moving from a corporate career into owning my own business. Or again, changing industries could be another option to where you're the functional area of your career. Let's say you're a marketing expert. That works for you, but maybe the industry that you're in doesn't, and so you need to change industries. That could be your it. And the difference between Worktuit and what a lot of career counseling programs do out there today is that we focus on self-motivation. And I'll get to that in a minute, but how we differ is from the common methods today of where career counseling is essentially like a lot of career coaches out there today charge a lot of money to help you, find satisfaction and success in a career. Or the big one also is, and this has been the case for a few years, but is taking a quiz or taking an assessment. And this is very common in high school and college. You go see your guidance counselor, you go see your career counselor in college, and then one of the first things they do is have you take a quiz or an assessment that supposedly tells you what you should do for the rest of your life, which I find amazing that people actually take that seriously. It doesn't hurt, but by all means, it should not be what you use to determine the fate of your career. That's a huge decision. So ultimately, it seems like there's experts out there that have this secret of what career success is, and they charge you to reveal that secret to you. And the reality is there is no secret. There's no secret into how this works. It's pretty straightforward. Because you can't expect others to plan and create a career for you, a successful career, I should say, for you. You can't think that career success can come from a quiz. By taking a quiz, that was easy. That should be your first red flag right there, telling you I just took a quiz and in 10 minutes I have my whole future career decided based on this quiz. No, that's silly. Don't do that. But ultimately, you just can't sit back in a reactive mode and put in little effort and expect all these great results. Your goals are not going to achieve themselves. Also, luck cannot be a factor in your plan. Luck is not going to just take care of you. There are people that get lucky. We all know this, right? The people that seem to walk through life and everything they touch turns to gold, drives us all nuts. But the reality is that most of those people, maybe they weren't lucky, maybe they did put in a lot of work prior to that. But sometimes it does just happen that some people do get lucky, but it's the tiny, tiny, tiny minority of us that actually do get lucky. And you can't let that determine your career or your fate. So I've talked about this already, but Worktuit's method is all centered around self-motivation and hard work. It's really that simple. Because it works. If you put in work, you're going to see results. It's really that simple. Now, it isn't easy. I'm not saying it's easy. In fact, it's not easy. That's my big disclaimer right from the beginning is putting in hard work is not easy. But if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to dig deep and learn who you are and put in the work, set goals, work towards those goals, I guarantee you'll see results. Guaranteed. Because this is what actually works. It's not a secret. It works. It has always worked throughout history. Throughout the history of mankind, if you put in work, you will see results. But you got to be a self-starter to see the progress. To see the fruit of your labor, you've got to put in the work. And that just, again, seems to be missing in today's world for some reason. People are just waiting for handouts, waiting to be told what to do. And go to a conference, take a quiz, take an assessment, hire a career coach. And magically, things will just get better for them. Versus realizing the tough pill to swallow here is to do work and to work hard and to work towards goals. That's when you'll achieve your results. You've got to work towards your it. So your it, as I say, it may seem unobtainable to you or just out of reach, or you may not even know what your it is. And the reason why is because you don't know who you truly are. If you know who you are, your goals become very clear. It's when you don't know who you are that you're kind of in that murky area where I'm not sure who I am or what I'm supposed to do, which is where, unfortunately, a lot of you are. So what it is what you should be pursuing in order to achieve a satisfying and successful career. But in order to figure out what that it is, you got to figure out who you are. There's a lot of us, a lot of you out there that are full of ambition. But the reality is, just like dreams, ambition gets you nowhere unless you actually take action on it, right? So your actions have got to equal the amount of ambition that you have. This is, again, something that I talk about a lot, and you'll hear me repeat it all the time. Ambition has to equal the amount of action that you put in. So the more action you take, the more work you put in, the closer you'll get to your it, whatever that is. It'll become a reality, and you'll actually see your ambition pay off. But if you sit in neutral and do nothing and just wait for things to happen, your ambition is all you have. And that's not going to get you anywhere, unfortunately. You have to put in the work to get your ambition to pay off. And the other key to all of this is motivation, right? So what motivates most of us? And I would say that for the majority of us, what motivates us is something that we enjoy doing, something that we're naturally fired up about, something that we know we're good at, that we're naturally good at. But we just need to develop our skills in a little bit further to actually make a career out of it. So this is the sweet spot. This is what we need to be focused on. If you focus on what you naturally enjoy doing, what you're naturally fired up about, what you're naturally good at, and build off of that, you're going to see success. And you're going to be really good at it too. Too many of us ignore that and just go into something that we feel like we should be going into, or because all of our roommates in college went into that, so I guess I should be doing that too. But you have no natural talent in that area. You're not naturally fired up about it or passionate about it. And that's why you end up burning out, or why you end up, right after you graduate college, realizing, what did I just do? Because you didn't think about it. You didn't know who you are, and you didn't know what you were naturally motivated to do. So Worktuit is based on a 5-step process. And it starts with, I've already mentioned this a couple times, the mindsets. And so a mindset is pretty straightforward, but for those of you that need a reminder, a mindset is essentially something that we do to tell ourselves, this is how I'm going to think about it. This is how I'm going to approach it. And so there's a variety of mindsets out there, but I would say it's safe to say that all of these mindsets that we have at Worktuit, which there's 10 of them, are all growth mindsets. And so if you develop and adopt these mindsets, you will be on your way to success and satisfaction. The second step in our process is discovering who you are. I've talked about this already, but self-discovery is also a huge element to what we believe will lead you towards career success and satisfaction. If you know who you are, if you know what you're meant to do, you know what comes natural to you. If you move inward, which I talked about intrinsic thought, if you move inward, that's going to help reveal who you truly are. And that's what you build your career off of that. You don't do it the other way around. And then you want to, as the next step, reveal your it. So that's the third step in our process. So once you adopt the mindsets, learn these mindsets, and then you reveal who you are, now it's time to really hone in on what your it is. This is the time to reveal it. Then the next step after that is you want to create a plan in order to achieve it. So you're going to build a plan and set goals to help you get to what it is that you're trying to achieve. And then lastly, the fifth step is we want you to leverage a mentor. I'm a big believer, and Worktuit's program is all based around this as well, that at some point you can't do it all by yourself. You're going to need help. And mentors are amazing. Once you find a mentor, a lot of times people will have that mentor for life. And a lot of successful people, if you don't know this already, still have mentors. People that you would think they know everything, that they're at the top of their game, they actually still meet with a mentor on a regular basis because they see the value in it and they realize that that's what helped get them there. And then ultimately, after those 5 steps, you're continuing to work towards your it. It never stops. It's an ongoing thing. Once you achieve it, it doesn't mean you're done. You got to maintain it as well. So you're continuing to work. But if you're not willing to put in the work, none of this will work. None of it. That's why, Worktuit is different, because we don't shy away from saying that you got to put in work. It's not easy. It's hard work. But if you do that, if you put in the work, that secret that I talked about earlier that these supposed people have that they'll charge you to reveal, it doesn't exist. The reality is they're just trying to give you a shortcut to success, which, again, doesn't exist. There's some shortcuts along the way, minor steps along the way that can maybe help you here and there that maybe you would pay a coach for, or maybe, to get some resume advice here, or get some tips on how to interview and nail the interview and all of that. That's all fine and good, but that's not what Worktuit does. We do more of the foundational side of career counseling. We want to help you get to the point. This is why it's so valuable for students or for people new to their career as well, is because too many of them skip right to the step of, well, how do I get my resume noticed? Or how do I interview? Or maybe what you should first do is learn who you are and adopt the right mindsets and get that going to make sure that you're on the right path to begin with. And then those little steps of resume advice and interviews and all of that, how to go to a job fair and meet a recruiter. In my mind, that's basic stuff that anyone could teach that knows what they're doing. I'm certainly qualified to teach that as well, but I want to hone in on the stuff that I feel that's still being missed today, and that's hard work, putting in the work, setting goals, achieving those goals, and that will ultimately get you to success.